and have to knock me out, but I'm still holding the throne. You never know till it's over. So pretty it hurts, just beware of the thorns.
Alright, YouTube, back for another one. If you're new and you like prison content, you like what I have to say, subscribe, share these videos, comment. And so, I like hearing from you guys, and some of you guys have great stories to tell. Some of you guys are ex-cons. Some of you guys have loved ones in prison, and I just like hearing from all you guys. Alright, let's get into this. Today I'm going to be talking about a little bit different. It's the loved ones on the outside of the incarcerated people. And people often don't think about those people. And the one thing that caused me to do this video is I had many people tell me on Quora and on here that watching my videos and reading my posts in Quora helps them give a better understanding of their loved ones in prison and what they're going through. So this is to all you people who have incarcerated ones. Now I can't say I know 100% how that feels because I've never really been on that side of the fence. I mean, I got partners in prison, but that's a little bit different. But I can tell you how my family felt and things that people have told me about their loved ones on the streets. My mom used to tell me, because I was doing a life sentence, she'd say, we're doing this life sentence with you. And the first time she said that, I was like, no, you're not. I didn't really understand. As I grew, I got to understand a little bit better, what she meant. And it's different for them, People incarcerated, they have the pain of being incarcerated and away from their loved ones. They can't go to funerals, birthdays, celebrate holidays together and stuff. But it's the same for them people. And maybe even more so. The people on the outside, your loved ones, because they wake up on Christmas Day and their son is not there, their brother is not there, some member of the family is not there because they're incarcerated. And I've had people tell me that it's painful, You have to excuse the coffee pot. I don't know if it's on the camera or not, but sorry about that. Same way with birthdays, weddings, all this. And taking into account too that sometimes they drive hundreds of miles just to go see you. I know my people had to drive, the shortest distance they had to drive was 25, which isn't nothing. The prison wasn't too far from my farm I grew up on. But there was times like when they'd have to drive a couple hundred miles. And that's just one way. They have to leave, and go back. So what they would do, a lot of times they'd start out early, real early, just to get there when visiting opened. And then they'd visit the whole visiting time, and it'd be dark a lot of times by the time they get back. We got to think about those who didn't get visits because the people lived too far away. I had this friend I told you about, Boz, because he's from Bosnia. Well, he got visits because his whole family came over together, and they lived in St. Louis. But I knew this guy. There was a couple of them from other countries, and one from Brazil. And I can't tell you whether he got visits or not, but I'm going to take a guess and say he didn't. There was a guy from Jamaica. He didn't get visits. There was a guy, both those guys were called Jamaica and Brazil, respectively, by the way. And then there was this guy from Austria. Oh, I forgot about the guy from Ireland, but the person from Austria, he was really messed up because he missing his family. Not only was he missing his family, and his family wasn't coming to see him. I think they did come and see him one time, like in the summertime sometime. But not only was he missing his family, but he was away from his whole culture, his whole way of life. And that goes for the same for like people from Brazil, Jamaica, wherever they're from, You could even say the same thing for people from like New York. There was a guy that we called New York because he was from New York. Well, he happened to get arrested in the same county I was arrested in. And so, even though I wasn't from Rolla, he would call me Rolla because I lived about 20 miles from Rolla. And so he would call me Rolla, but he used to tell me stories about from New York, but he'd always tell me about how much he missed his mom. And he was always calling, always getting letters, always writing letters. That's the way with a lot of people. Even people who have family members real close. We talk and write letters a lot. I know I did. And always loved talking to my brother. Well, my parents too, But it was always, me and my brother, we had this bond. But, we was tight. And like any other brothers, we fought growing up, But if I went to prison, because I went to prison for protecting him, it seemed like we just grew closer, So I loved talking to him. I know he loved talking to me. But the one thing he used to tell me all the time was, "Man, it's killing me you being in there. And, they gotta let you go sometime. This is killing me. It's killing our parents. It's literally, it kind of looked like it was kind of killing my parents. I saw them age 10 years in a year's time. And it was hard on them. And it's hard on anybody who has a loved one incarcerated. And the main reason for this video is to bring attention to that, because we always talk about, prisoners this, prisoners that, ex-con this. We don't talk about the ones who supported these people while they was in prison, who spent money, sending them money, spent money coming to see them. It's not, especially if you got to go a long distance, it's not like you just get in there and go and you come back, It takes money. And then you spend money at the visitor room, People always want to buy you something, It's funny, my parents and brother, they would buy themselves things too, like sodas and little snacks and stuff. But they loved buying stuff for me and just watching me eat it. It was kind of weird, To me it was, So sometimes they'd be done eating whatever they're eating, and they'd get me more stuff, and you guys gonna get stuff? No, and they just sit there and watch me eat with a smile on their face. But in same way with food business is really like that. We had these, like every 4 months, I believe it was, we had food visits where your people could bring up food in a plastic clear container, and they'd bring these up, and they may eat a little bit here and there, but they brought it up for me. I can't eat all of that, A lot of people, A lot of people that was in prison with me said the same thing. They bring all this stuff up. I can't eat it all. They need to help me. They said the same thing I said. People sit there and watch you eat it. It's like I took enjoyment out of seeing you eat something that they brought. Which I understand. But, we want to enjoy the food together with them, And, but these people put in time, put in money, put in heartache, pain, for their loved ones in prison. And they need to be recognized. And so that's what I'm trying to do today. And I doubt if anybody in prison will hear this. There might be a few that watch it on the phone smuggled in, but I just wish people that was in prison, most people are respectful and love the people who support them and love them, their loved ones. But there's some people I see get on the phone and just talk bad to their loved ones, and I don't understand it. They'll be saying, "Send that money. I need that money now," and calling them names and stuff. Look, your loved ones, your people on the outside don't have to send you a dime. And I never asked for a dime from them. I think maybe one time, but they asked me, for the deposit slips to send the money. It used to be we used to have to send deposit slips, and they'd have to fill up these deposit slips and send you money. And I never did send them any, and so they finally started asking, for them, and so they could send money. And then it got to where they didn't need the deposit slips. They can do this online and stuff, and so it didn't matter what I said, they just wouldn't tell me. They'd just send money, They'd say after they sent it, "We sent you some money, make sure it gets there, let us know if it gets there or if it hasn't got there." But I had amazing people support me while I was in prison, and not just my immediate family, but friends and others. And it's just amazing that, what they went through just for me, I'd see my mom a lot of time on visits. I'd get there and she'd all happy. Well, they all were. My brother and my father and all of them were. And you could see when it's getting close to time to leave, you'd see the sadness come over them, and they'd start talking more somber, like, and, well, it's getting close to time to leave. Dang it. Has it been this many hours? I think it was 3 or 4 hours. And 5 or something like that. Can't remember because I didn't care. Most of my visits I stayed from the time I got up there until it closed. They was almost having to kick me out. But my mom, a lot of times, she would try not to cry, but she would cry, leaving, And then you go back to your cell, and you think about the visit, and you're happy and everything. If you're cool with your cell, I've said this in other videos, how was your visit? A lot of times you can't help but tell him about it, what was said, this or that, I mean, nothing personal, but, it's like funny things that were said or stories that was told, whatever. And, but I always think about them leaving, like that, and have to make, like if I was far from home, in a prison far from home, making that long trip back, away from me. And, like when I first got to the walls, I got a visit like every 2 weeks. That was like a 60-mile drive, 63, something like that. No, that was just to Raw, so it was more like an 80-mile drive. Yeah, 80-some miles they had to drive. I had to get a visit every 2 weeks. And if they missed a visit, like if they supposed to come up on a certain weekend and they didn't make it, my mom was always apologizing. I'm sorry, I'm sorry. You don't have to apologize for anything. You guys got a life out there. You know, so, I mean, a lot of times I hated it when I didn't get a visit, but I understood, you know. That's why I didn't expect money. And when they would send money, a lot of times I would tell them, man, if you need this money, don't be sending me money. You know, I'll get by. If nothing else, they give me 3 meals a day. If you want to call prison for the meals. But, so, shout out to all the ones who are supporting their loved ones who are incarcerated. Much respect. I know it's hard. I've never been in that position, so I don't know. I'm just going by. Well, I've seen my family and friends go through visiting me, you know. So I know it's hard. And I commend all of you that do that. I've had people tell me, like, my cellie, it's usually my cellie, because, you know, you get to know your cellie. If you're cool with him, you get to know him. And I've had cellies come back from visits and say, man, he goes, I don't know if I can do much more of this. There were some people that refused visits because they couldn't deal with it. And but they would always say they didn't want to put their families through that. I can kind of understand it, but I'm thinking also they didn't want to put themselves through that, you know, because I ain't going to lie, it is a roller coaster, you know, like waiting on a visit, you know a visit's coming, you're waiting on it, then you get called for the visit, you're all excited and you're nervous a little bit. It doesn't matter how many times you've had a visit, there's some type of, can't explain it. Anyway, you get up there, you have to go through the dress out and the strip out and all that. You know, I understand it, but I hate going through that. Get in there with your visit. Have a good time. You got this bright light shining down on you. Sometimes it gives you a headache. Then you leave. And then it's like up and down. The emotions are. So, I commend you guys who come up, see your loved ones, drive all the way back. I know some of you guys come out of state. I knew a guy that got visits from out of state, and he got them often. That's just amazing to me. This guy's family came from Washington, and when I say often, I don't mean like every week or anything, but maybe once every other month, you know. And this person's family came from Washington, and I was just like, wow, that's love there, that's dedication. So I can't imagine what it's like over there, but all I can say is I know it's hard, I know it's painful, I know sometimes you can't do the things you want to do for your loved one inside, but that's just how it is, you know. There's things that incarcerated people in prison want to do for their loved ones on the streets, but they can't. So they do the best things they can, you know. They might draw a card or something. That card means everything to them that they're sending you. Trust me on this. If they went through the trouble of making you something to send to you, they're putting all their love in it. Unless it's somebody trying to, run game on a pen pal or something. But with loved ones, it's all love, you know. Those things that they make for you and send you out there, it's the best they can do, you know, with what they have. So I would just keep that in mind, you know. And so the same way with you guys trying to help the people in prison out, your loved ones in prison. Look, when I was in there, I knew that everything my family did for me, whether it's seeing me, whether it's sending me money, whether it's food visits, whether it's bringing, you know, having a package sent in when we used to be able to have them sent in. I know that they did that out of love, and that they would have liked to have done more, But you can only do so much. And so, I hope that I've represented you guys who have loved ones in prison. And, you know, explained how you guys feel. And I hope you kind of get the idea of the other side and how they feel about you guys. And thank you for watching. And I'll see you next time. Bye.